Kamala Harris is on the job. She is ready to, after her, on the heels of her last great victory with the southern border, she is ready to tackle Islamophobia in America. And so she's been nominated by the president to head up a council that will investigate Islamophobia. Now, our city streets can be filled with people who are spewing Jewish hate and asking for the state of Israel to no longer exist. But if anybody utters a single word that Kamala Harris deems unworthy, she will come for you. But let's just see how effective she's going to be, right? Because on the southern border front, not really an unparalleled success. Now, according to this news article, from January 20th to 2021 through January 19th, 2023, the Biden administration took 403 immigration-related actions, according to calculations by the Migration Policy Institute, putting it on track to soon overtake 472 immigration-related executive actions. MPI counted for all 4 years of the Trump administration. So, real quick, so the Biden administration has softened immigration to the tune of 403 from January 20th, 2021 to January 19th, 2023. They took 403 actions. Now, compare that to 472 in all 4 years of Donald Trump. So as you can see, Kamala and Biden are, record-breaking pace. Now, that record doesn't stop there, because they're also breaking records left and right in terms of how many migrants or immigrants are sneaking through our southern border. So it says this: Biden makes border history with the most immigrant encounters in August ever recorded. The August number surpassed the record of 302,000, that previous record, 302,412 from December 22. The 304,162 is between 5 and 10 times higher than the average monthly totals seen during the Obama and Trump administrations. So even Obama wasn't as bad as Biden is on the border. So as you can see, they have been absolutely killing it on the southern border, and this is all due to Kamala Harris's success. And now she is taking on her next task to tackle Islamophobia. Here's her telling us about this important job.
For years, Muslims in America and those perceived to be Muslim have endured a disproportionate number of hate-fueled attacks. As a result of the Hamas terrorist attack in Israel and the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, we have seen an uptick in anti-Palestinian, anti-Arab, anti-Semitic, and Islamophobic incidents across America, including the brutal attack of a Palestinian-American woman who was Muslim and the killing of her 6-year-old son. A senseless act of violence that the Department of Justice is investigating as a hate crime. And so today, I am proud to announce the Biden-Harris administration will develop our nation's first national strategy to counter Islamophobia. This strategy will be a comprehensive and detailed plan to protect Muslims and those perceived to be Muslim from hate, bigotry, and violence.
I think it was John Adams who said the vice president is like the stupidest job anyone can ever have. You decide for yourself. I'll just report. Needless to say, let's look at some of the claims in that speech she just gave. So she wants to condemn all forms of hate. I mean, look at these students right now beating on the glass, holding up signs, threatening Jewish students at Cooper Union. Look at these students that are locked inside of a library at the same school, these Jewish students, because there are Free Palestine protesters. Maybe one might call them terrorists because they're trying to insist on promoting terror for these Jewish students, but they're beating on the door of this library as these students are having to hold up in there and protect themselves. So she says, Kamala Harris does, she wants to protect people from hate and bigotry. Sorry, no, you can't do that. You can't even do that with violence because the Democratic Party is constantly trying to be soft on crime and making it more unsafe to live in America than it probably has been in recent memory. But also, it's kind of hard to protect people from hate. What will you have to do to actually keep people from being hated in society? It's not the government's job, nor is it possible for the government to truly do that, unless, of course, they want to get totalitarian. What they do want to do is just simply pander to people. They want to pander to people on their side of the aisle who are much more likely to support Palestine right now than Israel, while there are 233 hostages being held in tunnels in Palestine. But are they pandering to the right group of people? Is Islamophobia as dangerous as we are told it is? Well, here's some numbers on anti-Semitism. The director of the FBI, Christopher Wray, said that 60% of all hate crimes, 60% of all hate crimes in America is directed toward Jews. Now, I don't have the numbers for you on how much the remainder is toward Muslims, but I don't know if you're a mathematician or if you're great at calculus, but 40 would be less than 60, which would mean anti-Semitism is a much greater problem than Islamophobia is in the United States. However, I don't think Kamala Harris anytime soon, even though her husband is Jewish, just like Joe Biden is Catholic, I don't think Kamala Harris is going to undertake investigating hate towards Jews anytime soon. So here's the final point of all of this. Democrats have confirmation bias, as we all do. But when their confirmation bias reveals itself, we should see where it lies. They have to keep up appearances, or they actually have to change. They have to realize that, hey, maybe we have to condemn what Hamas has done, and we have to realize that Palestinians that are innocent right now are suffering as a result of Hamas. Yes, there are Israeli bombs going into areas in the Gaza where civilians are, but maybe that might have something to do with the fact that Hamas leaders, while they sit in Qatar and drink Mai Tais, are demanding and commanding their civilians stay in the area to become martyrs and to endure the fire and to stand up for Allah by dying, like all the stupid things that these guys say. So yes, Hamas is directing civilians to stay in the area because this is exactly what they want as they sit in their billion-dollar mansions. They want people to suffer and die so that they can continue to rake in cash and Israel can look like the bad guy. So they're using these people as their shields. I mean, the Iron Dome for Hamas is hospitals, civilian areas, because they all dwell in tunnels. They live in tunnels because they have an Iron Dome too, except it's not a shield to protect from missiles. It's a bunch of civilians and it's a bunch of apartments where people live because they don't care about civilian casualties whatsoever. Now, the Democrats can't admit this. They can't come full on out and say it. The Free Palestinian movement is a movement that we will be investigating for hatred toward Jews and sympathies toward terrorism. They won't say that. They would rather investigate moms and dads at school board meetings and say, white supremacy is the greatest threat that America is facing right now. Seriously. When we have tens of thousands of people protesting in the city streets, basically calling for genocide of the Jews, color me a little skeptical, but I don't think we are facing white supremacy as the greatest national terror threat in America right now. Perhaps it might be the people that you say need the most protection right now. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't protect people from any kind of violence. Of course, that's true. But isn't it odd that the people who need the most protecting right now are not the ones that are being protected by Democrats? Maybe that there's an election season coming up and everything that they do is just in service to that.
So you just got done watching a small excerpt of a much larger episode. You can find the link to that full episode down below in the description of this video. So you definitely want to check that out because if you like that clip, you'll like the much larger episode. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and click that little bell to be notified when great new episodes of Indie Thinker come your way. Thanks for watching.